everybody, and welcome to Salt All the Things. Today, it is just me, Trog, because unfortunately, Rocket has been sick and is in the hospital. Since we were not able to record anything last week before Rocket unfortunately went to the hospital, I thought maybe I would get on and just kind of give you guys a short episode, talk about the new patch and everything. So I'll just be jumping straight into there. Um, if you would like to inquire about Rocket or check in on his health or anything, feel free to reach out to us in either the Pull All the Things Discord or the Salt All the Things Discord. We will respond to both. So, without much further ado here, Trog's impressions about the latest patch. I'm sure I'll be doing more of this with Rocket tomorrow. So I was just going to go through the stuff that I've kind of experienced, which is probably less than what Rocket has experienced, to be honest with you. Talking about the kind of new area and the new quests. I did like the feeling of that new area. It felt a little bit like, from a story perspective, it felt a little bit like the Cersei Circlet area from the last expansion. I really appreciated that because I liked the way they told the story in almost kind of a Dark Souls way. We talked about this a while ago. Unfortunately, my experience was not super clean because I found lots of little, like, I'd call them silly bugs. So I would be flying along the island and I'd be looking at like the caves and the temples, right, that you can go in and explore. And I'd basically be looking through the underside of the map. And then when I would go through the cave or temple door and get into it, that part would look fine. But if I looked back out the door, it would again be showing me like a view from underneath the map. So something was weird there. I've heard other things that have been weird, like our poor evoker. Shout out to Rito. Apparently, evokers have been disconnecting when they try to use their evokery abilities, which seems less than ideal. And then all of the different boosts and stuff have now come in for the various class changes for the time. The new underground area, so where all of the ongoing activity, the kind of new zone area, I really like that. I've only done a little bit of it so far. I'm looking forward to talking with Rocket about his experience so far because I think he's done it a little bit more than I have. But I like all the little things to like click on and throw around and move faster, and the flight points. Having that available in there was nice, although I think there was in the last two worlds as well. I don't have a ton to say about it. The borrowed power board seems kind of meh to me, like the last one did. They always seem kind of meh. From a delve perspective, I'm hoping to do those delves later tonight so that I can talk with Rocket about them when he is back. So far, I've heard good feedback about the new delves, but I haven't experienced them. The new prey it's interesting. I am really a big fan of not hearing kill for me all the time anymore. So I'm sure we'll talk about that when we get to it later. It was interesting. All the slime traps that get put on in a little cluster seems like it's something that feels very much like our normal raid or dungeon mechanic. So it feels easy, I guess is the best way to put it, to get through. So prey seem to be maybe less irritating than they were before based on my cursory look so far. Um, Dungeon and Mythic pluses. So I have been moving one of my kids, so I haven't had as much time to play. But I did get to run all of the Mythic Zeros that in the preseason week, and I really like some of the variety that we had. A lot of these dungeons I've almost never run. I think Ruby Life Pools is the only one that I've done with any like amount of uh, any continual amount. Everything else, I've never really run any of the ones from Midnight nor the past expansion ones. Um, I did enjoy them all. The new one seems like it's going to be the hardest, and it seems like it was the least balanced one as well, from what I heard from guildies running it while I was doing my move. It is interesting how the latest dungeon that they make is so imbalanced. They said running a 10 felt like running a 17, so pretty crazy there. I do like the Jules Zahn fight. I kind of like the whole story of chasing him throughout this. I mean, if you have to ignore that, they're just everybody involved is making stupid decisions here. Like it's goofy, but it serves the story. It was really interesting. The Zul'Jin, I think they've changed this mechanic now, but originally, what you were supposed to do was you would get a debuff and then you would walk into the spinning glaive to get that debuff off. It now looks like there's a different mechanic you get hit by to lose the thing, not the spinning glaive, which may hit you one or more times, potentially causing problems. So that was certainly interesting to see. From a raid perspective, we went into the world boss on heroic, and we very rapidly saw that we did not have the damage to down that. Talking about not really being able to get the boss down too far below, I think 88% or something after a few tries. So we fell back to normal. We did that boss, I think, one shot after we went back down to normal. And then we went into the bigger raid, the new one, and we made really decent progress. I thought the whole, all of our raid days this week, we consistently downed bosses and made progress. I actually like how these bosses feel. They feel like they've got some familiar mechanics, but some of them are interesting, like the tank one, where I have to run as far away from the boss as possible to put distance to myself so the AoE is less extreme on the party members when it hits them. I thought that was a really cool mechanic. I am enjoying the raid quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to getting into heroic. Everything else about the patch, the balancing, I play a Prot Warrior, so I'm not super, excited about anything that I've seen come through yet. I think I'm not one of the winners of this particular patch, but I know some of our other guildies have gotten some cool stuff and some cool buffs, so that feels nice. So that's my really quick. I know that was like 8 minutes, but that's my really quick review of that new patch. Blizzard again has things that are broken on the first day. I had some people were falling through the world. I think one of my characters fell through the world, and then there were disconnection and login problems. So it's kind of the same thing we've been talking about recent patches. But what I do like is I like the way they're doing story in these areas. It felt interesting, even if, Zul'Jin to me seems like an even dumber character than Garrosh at this point. I really hope they start to improve that. The raids and the dungeons both feel very unbalanced, but outside of feeling unbalanced, I enjoy what they're going for here, like the systems they're setting up and such. Those are still engaging and interesting, and I'm glad their encounter design is at least not suffering the way some of their other content areas are. So that's my quick review of the patch. Rocket and I will go more in depth when he is feeling better and able to rejoin. A couple of housekeeping items that I just wanted to mention to the group. So we are looking at a way that we can monetize the podcast a little bit. We'd like to be able to pay our engineer so that he's able to do some more of the editing and putting the sound, the music in and printing up the episodes. So we're going to be looking at ways to do that. And one thing that we've talked about is having a version of this podcast that does have ads on it that people can choose to listen to, monetize us a little bit. I am very serious, though, about what I said when we started the podcast, which is we don't want this to be just a ad-filled extravaganza like everything else is on the internet. I very much want to find a way to make listening with ads a choice that you can make to support us, not something you're forced to do. So I'm looking at some Patreon options to do this, and I will give some more information once I have that moved forward and Rocket is back and all of that. The other housekeeping sort of thing is we've still got the website out there, saltallthethings.com. It links to our Discord. Hope everybody can get out there and join us. And if you would ever like to hop on and hang out with Rocket and I, play some WoW, run through some delves or something, please hop onto the server and give us a reach out. And if you'd like to pass on a get well soon message to Rocket, you can also post that on the server. He has a cell phone again, so he can at least view Discord. And I'm sure he'd like to hear from people wishing him well and a full recovery so that he can come back and, have way more salt about this game than I do. So I'm going to call that the pod for the week. I know it's rather short, not even a quarter of what we normally record, but we are still thinking of you guys out there in the community, and we are looking forward to doing our next pod when Rocket is back and feeling better and able to talk without all the phlegmy nonsense that he's been dealing with for the last week or so. So keep sending your positive thoughts his way, and we will talk to you guys next week. Thank you, everybody.